Hey Taurus, happy birthday. Good to see you. We are here to do your solar return quest read and see what adventures are up ahead of you. Certainly, this is for Taurus Sun natives, those who are born under that star sign. But if you have a strong Taurus placement, you may find resonance with the themes coming in around that Taurus energy signature. So you certainly could benefit from dropping in on this. And of course, if you love a Taurus and you want to know, am I playing a role? Am I playing a role in what's rolling out for them there? Well, this is an opportunity for you to cross watch a bit and maybe get some clues. But this is all about you, Taurus. We're going to dive right into it and just sort of open up with an overarching theme for your year ahead. I did get this message coming in that you are in a state of flux right now. You're in the process of shape shifting. And I feel like that's not only your internal emotional landscape, but there's a lot changing in the situations around you. 111 on the clock. Yes, it's a new beginning, a new kind of alignment that's coming through for you here. Perhaps a reorientation in some respects. I do feel like a real important choice is just on the horizon for you. And this choice is a game changer. It forever changes your life. It changes the way you move forward, who you move forward with. And it's a big moment. Some of you are really turning to your ancestors to give you support and guidance in moving forward. Some of you have a parental figure that had passed on that you really feel is like an angel on your shoulder, sort of whispering in your ear, sending through synchronicities at just the right time to alert you as to whether or not this is the right direction to go, or if this is the person that you can really, trust, rely on, or if you should steer clear. So I do feel like a lot of that guidance comes through songs. I got Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone came through as a song that might particularly resonate for someone here. But let's just dive into it, okay? This is what I have for an opening message. So something's in a state of transition here. Something is shape-shifting as we speak. You feel the ground moving beneath your feet. You know you're standing on shifting sands. And you're not quite sure how it's going to turn out yet. I do feel like at this time, your life is taking on a tone that's a bit movie size. All right. It might feel a little dramatic, but that's because it's a real important juncture. I got that. Bottom of the deck, you see. It's in this state of flux right now, but you are about to complete a major cycle here, and you're about to head through an initiatory doorway. And once you pass through that doorway, life will never be the same again. I do feel like there's some things that you're laying to rest. You're laying the bones to rest. In some cases, this process of completion has been around releasing a loved one who passed on. And that's been quite an intense journey for you. You had to do a lot of singing over the bones. There was a lot you needed to integrate there. There was a lot of grieving that you had to do. And it was intense moving forward without having that person there for you. It could have been somebody that was really like your rock. I do have parental figure for some of you coming through very strongly. But I do feel like you have had this time to integrate these experiences. And I think you've also felt the connection, the love, the presence of those who have passed on close by your side, and just really recognizing that it's just love, and love changes form, and it couldn't really be contained within that corporeal shell. But still, there's a lot to integrate there, right? So I think at times as you've been moving through the big passages of life, and some of you, it's been other endings, major endings in relationships and friendships and work you were doing. This is just a big time of transition. And I do feel like in some cases you felt like, you were on center stage as you were going through some pretty vulnerable stuff, going through quite a bit of shape shifting there. We do see this kind of Capricorn medicine there. Capricorn could have been factoring strongly into your situation. Could have a Capricorn North node. I do feel like whatever this is, you've had to be very resilient. You've had to be adaptable. There's something here that you've had to really transform and balance out for yourself. And I think this is about really finding the places within yourself where you had to bridge some gaps. Just really get yourself back to a place where you could feel like where there was something that needed to be addressed emotionally, it's been mended now. I think you have a certain clarity that you didn't have before. And this clarity will really serve you well with a very important choice you have up in the future here. I do feel like the choice you make will be a bit divinely guided. I think there will be synchronicities coming in to support you in making this choice. For some of you, that choice could be around a Gemini or a Capricorn. But I do feel that whatever you decide here, it will feel like the start of a brand new cycle, like you got a fresh slate. And I do feel like whatever choice you make here, it will put you in perfect alignment. It's a good augur to start out with here, but you are closing a major cycle. You could have been closing a major cycle with a life path number 5, okay? And it's been taking a lot out of you, but something is coming to a close and there is a way through. Let's see what other information wants to come in around this. Some of you have been going through a major physical healing process. You maybe even had to have like some kind of surgery. You had some kind of injury. It took a long time to recover from that. You're finally like getting mobile again. You're finally getting back into the flow of your life again. It took time for things to mend. Ooh, yeah, see, look at this, completion. Why are things in such a state of coming to completion? Because we got echinacea on the scene here. You see that star is on the rise, and it's the star that's going to give you hope at the end of the closing of this cycle. And what you're being put in alignment with is your destiny. We got this beautiful alignment between the solar and lunar energy there. I believe you're coming into contact with someone who is the moon to your sun. This very well could be playing out in terms of sun-moon synergy. So you could be aligning with someone who has a Taurus moon, okay? You could be aligning with someone that your moon sign is their sun sign as well. It could work both ways, this coming in. I also feel like whoever you're connecting with here, you understand each other on a deep soul level. There's soul recognition there. And there's also something deeply rooted between the two of you. You share some kind of connection here. And if you do prescribe to past lives, and that's a belief that you have adopted here, then I would say that you can feel that kind of like soul recognition with this person. This could also be spiritual roots, like you share like the same kind of philosophy of life, or you have similar spiritual belief. There's something very deeply rooted that's very unique to you that you see mirrored in this person. And there's growth here. There's growth here. And your connection, the two of you, when you come together, there's like a real rootedness to your connection. It's very strengthening. It's somebody I feel that's giving you that sense of like grounding that maybe has been missing in your life for a while. And you feel like, yes, this is the person. This is the person I'm meant to travel with at this time. Now, that can look many different ways. This isn't necessarily a romantic connection. I feel like this is somebody that you are meant to cross paths with here. And there's something you're going to root together. I feel that. But you have that deep, like soul recognition here. It's very important for an old cycle to close first before this can come in. All right, let me do a cut of the deck here and see what we got around that. Breakthrough. Okay, you don't see this coming. It's going to come out of nowhere. And I feel when this comes in, it does feel like a little divine play. It does feel like a bit of magic happening in your life. There's hints that this is the thing that is the stuff of your destiny. With Raven there could be a Libra connection coming in here. And I think a Libra, I think of the house of Libra. So certainly this could be a relationship, a romantic relationship, somebody you're meant to partner with on a deep level here. Whatever is happening here, it is significant. We have Mars energy coming in with Uranus there. So Aquarius could be playing a role. Aries could be playing a role here. Whatever this is, it puts you in alignment with a certain truth that can't be ignored. And this might be coming in through a breakthrough in communication. Maybe even in a situation where it's kind of gone cold, all of a sudden some kind of communication comes through. It's the game changer. It changes everything. It also might awaken an ancient memory within you, like something that has you connecting the dots on more of a spiritual level here. I could see that. Almost like meeting somebody. It could be somebody you're meeting here that you're like, wait a minute, I know you, even though you know you've never met this person before, at least not in this life. There's that kind of soul recognition here, I feel. Whatever this is, it's only been made possible though through what you've been in a process of wrapping up. Like there's something you had to transform to get to this point. And on the other side, yes, look what we got here. Rhodiola, wisdom, coming in at number 37, 10 energy, wheel of fortune energy. So again, something moves forward here in quite a magical way. It's very unexpected the way this moves forward. And the reason you're able to act on it is based on the wisdom of closing an old cycle. In other words, I feel like there's this breakthrough that wants to come through for you, but it's sort of in the hanged man position. It's like it cannot move forward until a certain decision is made. And I feel when you make that decision, you'll know you made the choice wisely, because that's what activates what feels like a synchronistic flow of events here. I feel like one thing leads to another, and some very significant communication comes in. That's a game changer here. It's a breakthrough moment. It is the moment when you're not sort of left hanging anymore and you move forward in a very magical way. It's quite unexpected. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay, let's get some more details here about the nature of your quest. Bottom of the deck, look at this. Yes, yes, I love it. So yeah, a lot of wisdom has been gained here. You've learned a lot. You've been really working on yourself, on refining the self. I see this. You've been taking all that heavy stuff and you've been transmuting it and turning it into pure gold here. A lot of you will be experiencing a big level up materially too, but this is also just really being in the essence of what makes you uniquely you, really being spiritually at home within yourself. And I also feel like this person that you're connecting with here, that's crossing your path, there's something that you're mirroring with each other in that way. Perhaps you've both been through this kind of a growth process. Also, this could be somebody that you are partnering with on a financial level. There might be something that you're meant to create together, develop together. Whatever it is, though, it's not something minor. I don't feel that at all. I don't feel this is like, oh, just business as usual. It's more like a labor of love. And as I heard labor of love, I don't know, maybe you're coming together to make a baby. That's possible. Some of you have felt like your spirit baby coming in. You might think that's not possible. You might feel like you're too old for that to happen. You might be surprised. All right, I just have to bring it in because it's what's coming in here. Whatever you're extracting from this, though, is pure gold, all right? So there is sort of a richness it brings into your life. But when we think of richness, let's not just look at it through the filter of some kind of financial gain here. It makes your life rich. It enriches you. It enriches your life. Okay, there's something to build on here. But I feel like you're in a really good place. You're in a really good place. You're going to be looking good. You're going to be feeling good. You might have been, addressing your health a bit. Yeah, it's all about you closing this cycle, though, right now with the world on the bottom of the deck. Okay, you could have been dealing with a fixed sign energy. You could have been dealing with an Aquarius, a Leo, a Scorpio, another Taurus like yourself, all right? But something's been too fixed, and that's why it's in flux right now. It needs to shift so you can find a new way through and actually not experience so much of the gridlock you've been bumping up against here. It's meant to go much more smoothly for you. And I also feel like once you get through this, if you have been experiencing any kind of like holdups, especially materially, financially, these will definitely improve for you too. Okay, you'll start to see growth. But it's because there's something here that's sort of stagnant, I feel, or a certain position that's been held that's preventing forward motion here. And that's what's going to shift. That's what's going to shift. It's through somebody you're coming into contact here that changes the game. What do we got here? Yes. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, you see, there it is. There's that breakthrough moment. So see, right now you're under a lot of pressure. I feel like you're carrying quite a heavy load. Some of you really feel like you got too much responsibility, too many choices weighing on you. You might be weighing up different kinds of actions you could take. None of them necessarily seem like the right one because you feel like there's a missing element. Like I feel like what's so burdensome about the present situation is there's a certain like unknown element at play here that's causing you frustration. And you wish you had a better idea about this, but see, there's this energy here of the King of Pentacles. This is you. And I do feel like where you're needing that information, where you're needing that piece of the puzzle so you can actually invest in a particular direction, this is coming in, okay? For some of you, you have a King of Pentacles coming in. We did have that like sun-moon synergy. So they could have a Taurus moon, all right? Or Capricorn came in pretty strongly for you too. Just sort of working with what we've seen come out so far. But see, this individual comes in and all of a sudden you're not in this place where you feel like burdened because you have no idea sort of the action you should take because there's this communication that comes through that's the key to overcoming the current problems. It like cuts through a bunch of bullshit. That's what I got. And it just makes things very plain and clear for you, right? So it looks like your quest is all about this important meetup you're having here, all right, that changes the game. Let me do a cut on that just to see any further information that wants to come in around that. Yeah, it opens the road. When this individual comes in, it opens the road and it also really changes the way you look at what's possible for your future. So it might even change your direction that you were heading in because you feel like when this comes in, this is that gold at the end of the rainbow that you've been waiting for. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel. That's what I feel. All right, let's check it out. I feel called to look at not your nemesis or spirit ally, but nemesis and spirit ally for you. Okay, so I feel like there's already been some opposition you've been dealing with, basis of the matter. Two of Cups. especially in relation to like matters of the heart, who you're wanting to come into alignment with. You may feel like you keep like bumping up against the same problems over and over and over and over again, but it's because something hasn't been digested yet. Like I do feel like you've been on a karmic loop because there's something that hasn't been completed. There's something that remains to be completed. And until that is closed up, it doesn't allow like a turning of the wheel, I feel, is how it's coming through. You may have started to get hints of this around the summertime, and then it really came to a head. Like you kind of knew that there needed to be sort of an acting on a certain truth in the winter. I just feel like you haven't acted on it yet, though, because you feel like you're in the dark about a certain piece of the puzzle here, but your puzzle piece is coming in. I got that, okay? Let's see, who is your nemesis, or what is your nemesis on the path ahead? What is the nemesis, or who is the nemesis to Taurus on the path ahead? Because I am sensing a little opposition here. Right. I did kind of have that energy coming into your read where I couldn't really decide on a deck. So you may not know, like you may not know what hand you want to play. And I kind of was like, well, I think I'm going to just kind of just experiment and try them on for size as I progress in the reading. So you might be in a similar situation where you're like, I'm not sure what hand I want to play. I might have to kind of like play some rough hands first, you know, that I'm meant to play because I learned certain skills for the road ahead, you could say, and then maybe try some others when those go left, you know. So I don't think that you've really had like a set plan. You've been just kind of playing the best hand that you've had available to you. But I do feel like whoever this is, you're coming into alignment with. Whatever communication is going down here between the two of you, it's a game changer. Bottom of the deck, Wheel of Fortune. See, it gets the wheel turning. It gets the wheel turning. Tells you where the treasures are hidden and reveals the hidden dangers. So you're coming into alignment with someone that's going to tell you how to find exactly what you're looking for here, how to get your hand on that gold, okay? What symbolizes gold to you? And for all of you, that's something different. For some of you, the true gold is being able to find that person, you know, that you can share your life with. And you're really wanting something to come through. You're wanting a different experience in matters of the heart. You're hoping to come into alignment with that person who is your destiny that you can grow old with into your golden years, all right? And then for others of you, it's something quite different. It's an adventure you want to have that you feel wouldn't be possible. And it's suddenly possible because of the missing piece of the puzzle, or the missing element, like the thing that you've been lacking that's been preventing you from acting on that thing is finally being put right on your path. And so it's sort of a moment where, okay, the wheels turn and it's up to you. Are you gonna take this opportunity? So you're being dealt a hand here, and then you'll have to make a decision if you're going to play it or not. But I do feel like there are hidden dangers here, all right? There are things that you do need to be aware of. There's a lot on offer. There's a lot of gain on offer. And certainly I do feel like there could be a gain materially, like financially. This could be something that is like a game changer in like a certain angle you're working with your business, all right? Maybe that aces out the competition in a certain way. Maybe you've been wondering, like, how do I even get in the game? You know, some of you may have been feeling like your work hasn't been having the kind of visibility you wanted to have. And then this is like the ingredients for the secret sauce coming through. All right. But there's definitely like there's hidden dangers here, okay? So there's things that you do need to be aware of. Tell us more about this nemesis. What is this nemesis that Taurus needs to be on the lookout for? What is the nemesis, or who is the nemesis? I don't know. It might out somebody specifically. I mean, we're always open to those details. What we got here? Justice tells how the angels fell, reveals the past, present, and future. So there's rebirth energy coming in here with the bat medicine, justice. So it almost looks like a second shot at something. That's how it's coming through. A second shot at something. But maybe when you tried to take a shot in that direction in the past, it didn't go well. There were too many elements at play that you weren't aware of. You were sort of in the dark. And so it caught you by surprise. But now you sort of have that hindsight, you have that hindsight. And I feel like this is another opportunity to balance something out, okay? There could be a Libra connected to this situation. And again, that ties into somebody you're coming into alignment with here. So there may have been a situation where, one person sort of like fell from grace in the other's eyes here. And there might have been some confusion around that. Like, why did you turn on me? Or why did that fall through? And what I feel is going to happen here is there's going to be like some communication that goes down here that gives answers that fill the gaps in your consciousness about certain things here. And there's a balancing out that looks like it renews a connection here, right? It definitely is something that has been through a process of having to like burn through some major karma. I mean, whatever this person is somebody that is part of your spiritual growth. I mean, you serve as a catalyst for each other on this level. All right. So far we got Libra energy out here, and we have Earth sign energy. Let me go ahead and do a kind of the deck here on this. Further details. Four of Wands. Yes. Okay, we also have some Leo energy coming in here with Virgo. Somebody maybe that wants to come into alignment with you might have a big announcement to make in relation to this. Maybe this is also something you're like kind of keeping under wraps right now. You might not want to reveal a certain alignment that is coming in for you, because you know that if you make it evident, somebody could blow the whistle on this. And by them sort of announcing your moves before you're ready to make them evident to everybody, it could sabotage things for you. So I think you need to be aware of being careful of who you share, who you share certain information with, especially when this alignment comes in for you. That's what I would say. Because it does look like it's something that's your justice, and it is something that leads to perfect alignment with the Four of Wands. But there's somebody that you maybe like to confide in. It could be a Leo, it could be a Virgo, and that might not be in your best interest. Or if you tell something to a Virgo, they may actually relay the information to a Leo, who then puts it on blast. This is what I got. You got to be aware of who you share certain things with in this situation, because I think that there's a little bit of maybe envy that could come through in this situation that could sabotage things. If somebody like sort of, it's not an alarm for you, but that's how this person would view it. They'd be like sounding the alarm to the minions who would like come forward and start to stir up problems here. And there may be certain people that have questions about you and what moves you're going to make, what you're up to here. So you do need to be aware of that, okay? That there are people who would like to sort of like blow your cover. That's how it's coming through. And with that, we got the high priestess here. All right. So now you might be like looking at certain people a little different. You're like, well, wait a minute. Okay. Water sign energy coming through there. Cancer very strongly. Could be a Cancer, Leo, Casper. Okay. Also Pisces and Scorpio. Right. So do be aware of this. Yeah, they know the secrets, man. They know the secrets. And they can use that to their advantage to change what's in play. So this is what you need to be on the lookout for, you know. And it's interesting here. Notice the solar and the lunar energy here. I don't know. It's got almost like a smoke and mirrors vibe to me, I have to say. All right. Where maybe there's like been a little glamour that's been cast. This could even be somebody that at first you thought they were like your moon to your sun, okay, or vice versa. You know, maybe their moon sign is significant in some way, or their sun sign is your moon sign. Like I could see it playing out either way. There's something there. You may have thought at first this person was your alignment, and now you're both looking at each other very suspiciously. Okay. There may be some questions you have there. You may even feel like this person is keeping secrets from you, keeping you in the dark in some respect. Okay. You may feel like because of certain things that were done in the past, like when they blew your cover or when they spread some news that they weren't meant to share, or you know, ways that they kept secrets from you or kept you in the dark, you may have felt like a certain alignment was spoiled for you, a certain opportunity. But I do feel like you're getting a second shot at that. All right, with justice here, big rebirth energy with the bat medicine there. But, you know, you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. And also, you know, that's another clue too. Like if you're looking for answers to certain questions, I mean, I think you know where you can find the gossipers. You know, you might overhear some things to your advantage in certain circles. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's how it's coming out. Yeah. I mean, your wheel of fortune spinning, you know, in the balance here, depending on what you do. There's treasures on offer. You can get the answers to where you can find that treasure, but you also have to be aware that there are hidden dangers here. I feel like it's dangers through familiars that maybe you've started recently to sort of go, I don't know about you. I thought I could count on you. I don't know so much anymore, okay? All right, let's check out your spirit allies in this situation. Bottom of the deck, King of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This might have something to do with the action you're considering because it's got that like spear of blue energy there. I feel like this is somebody that you want to get answers from. They're providing you with some kind of answers to quell your doubt in this situation. All right, let's get some more details here. Tell Taurus more about this spirit ally. Okay, so you could have some questions about a Leo energy out here already, pretty strong. Could be about any fire sign. You felt in the dark and you want some answers, so you know what action to take. That's kind of how it's coming through. Okay, let's see what your spirit ally is in relation to this Taurus. What is Taurus's spirit ally in relation to this? You got the Emperor, okay? So could be an Aries, could be a big boss energy, could be somebody that's in a position of power. Somebody has the ability to call in some favors, pull some strings. This could be somebody who has a certain status in their life, a certain position. They look pretty exasperated here. They look pretty exasperated. I mean, this person is in some kind of position where they do get to call the shots. I think that whoever this is, they might also tell you how you can avoid some missteps to further prevent sort of like fueling controversy, right? So there's some way you got to move in a situation where you got to be careful about how you come into alignment with this, because I do feel like if you move, without really kind of like considering ramifications, you could put yourself in quite a tight spot in this situation. Whoever you're dealing with here, they're kind of like fed up. I see that with the Emperor. They look like a little fed up, like something's been a little tedious, okay? But I feel like the basis of the matter is this individual still, as rough as they may be, they do provide some kind of like helpful advice. It might not be advice you necessarily want to hear, but it's advice that's beneficial. Yeah, I mean, they tell you about the right way to invest your time, your energy, and the actions you're taking that do help sort of shine a light on the road forward for you. And again, could be connected to a Virgo that has big hermit energy. They will help you sort of arrive at a place of discernment, I feel. Okay. This is somebody who can kind of clear your head, also tell you how to get out of a tight jam. I feel like this is somebody that's coming through to give you some assistance to sort of tell you how you can get out of a certain mess you gotten in here. There also may be some sort of guidance they give about how you can address something financially that you're kind of stressed out about, you're trying to resolve here. What do we got here? Yeah, I mean, I think they're alerting you to certain people that you have connection with that you need to break those ties, because they're not people that necessarily support you moving forward here with the Two of Swords in reverse. And this may be the very thing you haven't done yet that you need to do in order to have this like turn of fortune you're wanting to see here, in order to have this sort of like restart on something that passed you by that you want another shot at. You got to break the circle. That's the only thing that's going to get these, blocks out of your way. It's like kind of the people that you're connected to right now aren't necessarily in your favor. Not all of them. I'm not saying that, every person you're dealing with should be cut off here. But I think you've already had suspicion about a certain person or persons, and you know that as long as you're kind of connected to this, it's going to hold you back. And that could even be breaking ties with something like leaving a particular job or breaking a certain contract. There's some choice you need to make here. It might not be the easiest choice for you to make, but it's necessary. And I do feel like there's an emperor here that's advising you to do this. Like they're telling you what you need to do to get yourself out of a tight spot, how you need to invest your energy in order to shine a light on the way forward. So you're not like moving forward in the dark like this, totally burdened. Because the more that you kind of move forward that way without really knowing what you're stepping into here, you're going to find more fires to put out. So whoever's guiding you here, it seems like, there's somebody who's advising you. They do have experience. They are in a position of power. They do know what they're talking about, and they are giving you some good advice. So it looks like it's some kind of emperor energy. For some of you, it could be a father, okay? And kind of the deck there when we got on this. And again, justice comes out again. Big Libra energy here, okay? So also Libra could be an ally in this situation. Will make the truth known. And that truth is what causes the innocent to prevail with justice here, all right? So we have double justice on the table. That's quite significant, I have to say. What do we got on the other side of the deck? And there's the King of Wands, okay? Fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius comes out again. So justice coming through. For this king, it feels like a King of Wands. It could be an Aries. That energy came out pretty strongly. It could be an Aries who's getting the truth, that balances something out here, brings about an alignment, not in the dark anymore, all right? Not missing, certain critical pieces of information. Where there's innocence in the situation, innocence will prevail. And it looks like where there has been something that's been done wrong, well, we're going to learn how the angels felt, all right? And it does look like there will be ramifications for that, because it looks like one way or another, there's somebody you have to cut off from your circle here, or something you need to break ties with. It could be an organization. It could be a job. It could even be breaking ties with just like a perpetual way of doing things too, all right? But this is to your advantage, all right? And also just biding your time. Knowing the right time to issue certain communications, speak on certain matters as well, okay? All right, like that, I like that. Let's go ahead and do it on the planet. This is the way it is with your read. I just want to grab random decks. We're going to look at the lay of the land, bottom of the deck. Yeah, right now you're worried about this, though. You could be losing sleep about this. You keep having dreams, like it's your consciousness is like trying to get you to pay attention to certain stuff that you just like shove down because you don't want to look at it. So you might find that you're like waking up in the middle of the night, that you're having strange dreams, or there's a lot of information coming through your dreams, or you just have a lot of anxiety. You've got a lot on your mind, a lot weighing heavily on you. So I feel like that's kind of territory you're in right now. It's sort of like, I'm in the dark. I'm missing critical pieces of information. I'm not sure what I should do. I know I'm dealing with oppositional energy, and I need certain communication to come through, or certain information to put me in a better position, so I know how to play my hand in this situation. Let's see, what is the lay of the land for Taurus here? What is the lay of the land for Taurus here? This next trip around the sun. The road will open with the Three of Wands. It will. There will be a way forward, but do you notice one of those wands is being left behind? So it's like you got to change your course of action here in order to get where you want to go. I feel that. It's like there's some action you took in the past that was not the right action. I mean, it was the right action in the bigger picture, just in terms of the wisdom you gained from the experience. But I bet if you had the chance to avoid ending up in that kind of a situation again, you'd want it. Okay? Because it looks like it's been a little bit rough. It looks like it's been a burden. It looks like it's something that's slowed you down and that's had you in the dark and had you in your head a lot. Okay? So it's best to kind of like, avoid having this kind of an experience again. So I felt the sense of, learning a lesson out of it, but that's not what you're wanting. You're not wanting more of that. Okay. So there is some action that you took in the past. It was not the best action to take. And there's some kind of rectification that needs to happen there in order to get the road to open up for you and get what you want in a situation. And it looks like something that, you need to break ties with here, okay? Because certain details are going to come to light. Let's get some more information about that. I feel like once these details come to light, and once you act on this guidance you get from, it looks like some emperor here advising you, 44 on the clock. Yeah, that's good guidance. Whatever that is coming through, it's a little bit of like angels in the outfield. You could be having like a little bit of a date with destiny with an angel. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody, it just feels like a fated meeting. This can even be with a stranger, but somebody who speaks to you with such authority that you feel like you just got that answer to that big question mark that's been hanging over your head all this time. All right. I feel like whatever that is coming through. Somebody's going to give you some advice. And it's like when this communication comes in, you'll know it. It's going to be a breakthrough moment because all of a sudden you're going to feel like the path ahead's really lit up. It makes it clear the choice you need to make. It's really important that you act on that. Yeah, you've got to plant the seed. When this comes in, you got to plant the seed for there to be growth. And this will come in pretty soon, I have to say. Ace of Pentacles, spring timing card, probably will be coming in before summer solstice. So be on the lookout for this. This is a brand new opportunity that's coming through. But it does require that you abandon a former pursuit. That's what I feel. It's like something's got to go here. Something's got to go in order for you to be able to really grab a hold of this opportunity and run with it. Let me do a cut of the deck on that. See what we got here. Yeah, and you're just so confused. You're so confused. Should I do it? Should I not do it? I don't know. All right. And as long as you're in that place where you're like trying to weigh it up, trying to figure it out, and you're confused, it holds you back from being able to step into the empowerment of the Empress here. Okay. This is about choosing growth. It's about opening yourself up to receive the abundance that's on offer here. But the Empress is made through integrating the lessons of the four suits. Mastered the swords, mastered the wands, mastered the cups, and mastered rooting it in material reality by actually making it happen, you know, acting on the opportunity, going through the door. Staying in a place of indecision will keep you out of this Empress energy. And this is what's on offer. So when we look at that Three of Wands and wanting those ships to come in, this is what drives them further out to sea, okay? Where they can't come into port is when there's this indecision, constant weighing things up here. This could be in relation to an Empress as well. You might be really confused. You might be feeling really emotionally confused. For some of you, this could be around a pregnancy, right? It could be a pregnancy that takes you by surprise, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not really sure if I'm ready for this at this stage in my life, or there's something about it that makes it very complicated. This could have something to do with a mother and how the mother is going to perceive a choice that's being made and how that's going to affect that relationship, the pushback you're going to get, and that's a complicated factor in this situation here. This could be something that gives you the opportunity to really level up in a big way, like really step into your growth, step into your value, really represent yourself. And there's insecurity that's holding you back. Okay. So there's something you got to master here in order to really root this. That's the lay of the land. That's the lay of the land. All right, let's stick with this a little bit. I like this like glow in the dark tarot here. What's the beat? What is the meat of the matter for Taurus here? It is kind of putting a wrench in the works. What is the beef? What is the meat of the matter, and why Taurus may encounter some opposition along the way here as they head on toward their destiny? What's the beef? What's the meat of the matter? Let's see. Bottom of the deck, that something needs to come to an end. There's something that needs to be closed. There's something you have to bring to a completion with death here. There's no avoiding it. It's going to happen. It's coming on through. So now's the time to wrap something up. All things come to an end, but they begin again as well. So you're at that interesting place where you're sort of straddling the divide between then and now. And now is where everything happens. Rebirth is imminent. It is. Rebirth's imminent. But there is something you have to bring to a close here, for sure. There's no avoiding that, right? And I think that may be where there's a little resistance, like not wanting to close something up. I mean, look, it's just so clear. Like, in order for this to come in for you, this alignment to come in for you, this person is bringing some opportunity for you. That is basically your destiny being handed to you, but you have to activate it by taking action. The only way you can do that is if you abandon a previous action, a previous course of action, a previous route you were going to go, a previous choice that you made that you were really aligned with. There might be something about that you're feeling a lot of like anxiety around that, around having to backtrack. It's like it makes you nervous. It's keeping you up at night. It's stressing you out. What do we got here? And with that, we got that high priestess coming out again with judgment, okay? And with that, we got the 3 of Pentacles coming out with the strength, with the 10 of Swords, all right? Now, you know something secret's been going on. You know something's been hidden. You've had your suspicion about a particular character here. It could be a Cancer, Leo, Cusper. It could be any of the water sign energies, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But then we got, this energy of Sagittarius coming in with judgment. Something is revealed. The news comes in. Whatever is revealed, whatever was secret that is revealed, creates rebirth in a situation. You now understand how things were worked in such a way, manipulated in such a way, possibly through getting the truth out of someone. It could be this Leo, all right? Could be this Leo is the one that pipes up. We've got a couple sort of indications of that here. There could be a Leo that's sort of sounding the call on this. Also sounding judgment. Could even be alerting a Sagittarius about this. Possible. Ted just said yes to this. Maybe also about some work that's been done or the way somebody's been working someone. Okay? Revealing how somebody's been manipulating someone. Or if you know a particular dark wizard, revealing the hand they've been playing and the workings they've been throwing around to bring an end to something here, a brutal end. If that's the case, somebody's been sending a lot of daggers your way, and they've been successfully landing. I see it. It's like being used as a pin cushion there. But until you break that circle, it's like you're stuck. That's what I see. And that's the beef, man. So you might also, I can see you kind of having a hard time sorting out well, who do I believe? Okay. Because you might have a couple key figures here that are each telling you something different. And that's what you're trying to sort out. But maybe you need to actually go and get your truth. There might be an action you need to take to get your truth. If you've been relying on other people to get information, it might be time you go get it yourself. That might be what you need to do. I do feel like there is somebody here who will tell you the truth, but they're not going to just volunteer it because it looks like whoever they are, they're in some position of power and they're already frustrated. They look like irritated with the situation. Okay, so that's the beef. What are the consequences Taurus is going to have to deal with as a result of their past actions? Because, I mean, we look at that. We all have our part to play in situations. So let's see where you're at. You know, what you're going to have to sort out here in this next turning of the wheel. What are the consequences Taurus is going to have to deal with as a result of their past actions, Spirit? What are the consequences Taurus is going to have to deal with as a result of their past actions, Spirit? What are the consequences Taurus is going to have to deal with as a result of their past actions, Spirit? One more around here. Consequences Taurus is going to have to deal with as a result of them. Taurus is like, I don't want to look at that. Well, I mean, you're going to have to. Because you can't stay where you're at. You got no room to move. You know what I'm saying? This is a losing hand to be in this fixed of a position, right? There's something you got to do to free yourself from a situation. You feel like you're trapped, or you feel like you're stuck. But see, I think that was what was coming through with that Emperor energy. So it's saying, no, you're not. Like, this is what you have to do. But there might be like a little piece involved in what you need to do that is perhaps something you don't want to do, even though it opens up so much for you, it looks like. So what are the consequences Taurus is going to have to deal with as a result of the past action, Spirit? What are the consequences Taurus is going to have to deal with as a result of the past action? Okay, that took some time. Yeah, there is something you have to deal with here. You have to deal with this in order to be able to move forward. Chariot, bottom of the deck. Cancerian energy coming out again. Moon in reverse. Woo, okay. And what's crossing? Oh, that 9 of Pentacles here. This is needing to go through an initiatory gateway. And this is not going through the gateway because you're completely in the dark about something here. There's something that's operating here on the subconscious level that you need to pull on up and have a look at in order to make it through this initiatory process. Because when we got the moon in reverse, that is confusion, that is not being grounded in a stable way of moving forward in a situation. It's just completely not being able to see the forest for the trees. And there also may be something in the perspective that's a little skewed, it's a little off, it's not being seen accurately, it's a little smoke and mirrors. And certainly if you've been dealing with a high priestess here that's been throwing some stuff around, okay, or if there is a high, I'm just going to put it that way, if there is a high priestess here that's been throwing around some workings, okay, and if this is related to an action some of you may have taken, we got to put it out there, okay? And when we're talking about doing some workings, this can be the way a story was spun, or a slant that was put on something, or a little word that was put in someone's ear. That can also be a way to cast a certain spell over one's consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So whether this is something that maybe you couldn't see at the time, and then in retrospect, you're like, ooh, maybe that wasn't quite accurate, but not wanting to do cleanup around that, it needs to be dealt with. If this is something that, you know, was done to you, there is still something you need to address in this situation. This is about recognizing that nobody can have that power over you unless you give it to them. So it's about really stepping into your personal empowerment. It's about growing, getting beyond
the need to sort of get in some embroiled battle of, oh, well, they did that to me. Well, I'm going to go and strike back at them, which actually is going to be the thing that holds you back. It's like you're being asked to choose the path of growth in a situation, and also recognizing that you haven't clearly seen, the situation you're dealing with. There's a lot there's hidden here with the moon in reverse. You don't have all the answers in this situation. You may think you do, but you don't. And I do feel like that's why you're kind of connecting with this person that's helping you out. Some emperor here is putting you in a loop and sort of revealing things to you that you didn't see. Once you see it, and then once you course correct as a result of having a clear view of a situation, that's what gets you moving forward. That's what gets you moving forward. But as long as you try to kind of like continue to head in a particular direction, you're only robbing yourself of this happy outcome that you're looking for here. All right, so that's what you need to be careful of here. So I do feel like also there's something here that's been a little bit secretive, and it needs to be owned. You need to really step into it, represent it, in order to experience this growth, right? And that growth doesn't just happen internally, but it also happens materially. So it's interesting when we're in that place where we're not willing to, do that work on ourselves, and we sort of get very fixed. It doesn't encourage like the art of manifestation to be rooted in our lives. Like we're not able to get a good financial flow going or opportunities coming our way because we're really like just too blocked. We're too blocked, right? So I feel like this has something to do with making something hidden known. And that might be the guidance that you're getting from this emperor is like, look, you got to, cut to the chase. There's something here that's going to be better off if you sort of like face the music and kind of come up and out with it, move forward and shed light on it yourself rather than letting this be revealed. That can really work against you. They may also be pointing out to you the ways that by trying to keep it under lock, you're also just creating more stress, anxiety for yourself. Whereas you could just be done with it, You could just get it done and over with, like ripping off a Band-Aid, quickly. That's what I feel, okay? That's kind of how it's coming out. Yeah, I feel like pulling out a different deck. Let's see what we got here. See what your power to be gained through self-mastery is. Page of Cups. Okay, see, so there's something here that you've reflected on. You've seen something about yourself. And I think it's something about, what you're feeling emotionally. But I don't feel like you've delivered this news yet, okay? Stork energy there too. I mean, it could be around the pregnancy. It could be. It could also just be the birth of something that is important to you. You want this new beginning. And there's something about having to share the news about it, maybe that is uncomfortable because it also reveals another truth in tandem. It may be like something that was done like a little subversively, a little behind the scenes, clandestine. In some way, it feels outing. That's how it's coming through. What is the power to be gained through self-mastery for zero? If you want this birth, there's going to have to be like some kind of receptivity to opening up, the emotional space. I feel like that. I do feel like there's an opportunity coming in for that, but are you going to take advantage of it? And for some of you, it does involve like revealing a secret, letting something be known. But I think you've been trying to bide your time, trying to figure out when is the right time. Maybe because you feel like you need to have certain elements in place or have certain pieces of information that are missing, but I don't really think that's the case at all, actually. No, I mean, we got the Knight of Wands here coming through. So it is like about, taking action to shed light on something. All right. You are meant to take action here to cut something off that's actually been really restricting you and causing problems here. Okay. What is the power for Taurus to gain through self-mastery, Spirit? What is the power for Taurus to gain through self-mastery? Okay, what do we got here? See? The Hangman in reverse. Well, you'll finally get yourself down from this hanging post here, and nothing can move forward like this. And with the Jaguar medicine there, this is about impeccable integrity. It's also about understanding that you can't know every unknown element. It's unknown for a reason. Part of the initiation process is to be fearless in the face of the unknown. And you follow your directive of your soul because it's what's in integrity. And there is something about that. And you've been sort of like staying in place too long in a matter, and it's time to stop sort of like resting on your laurels. You need to take action. You need to take action. I mean, if you take action, it's actually going to put you in a better position. And yeah, you may deal with opposition. I'm not saying you're not done. You will. To me, it's sort of coming through as the reason why you may be dealing with opposition is because there's something about the situation that's going to be seen as a little sneaky. There's a lot kind of coming through here about stuff being hidden, and I think that may be what ruffles some people's feathers here, or they feel a little blindsided by what you're doing here. It does, rouse up some dissension. I mean, I'm not going to say it doesn't, but, at least you're standing in your truth. You know what I mean? And that alone is going to give you a higher ground because there's something you feel very strongly about here. So it does require you to kind of reclaim power to make the choices in your life. Because if you're staying here hung up for way too long because you're afraid of letting the truth be evident, then you really got to like start asking some different questions. Because we're most empowered when we stand in our truth. And often when we hide something, it looks like it's something pretty significant here. When we hide something, that thing will have authority over us. It will have power over us. And then it doesn't allow us really to, have that self-mastery that affects change in our life. And on a level that brings growth. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're holding yourself back. Whatever's being hidden here is holding you back. And I feel like that's what needs to be cut off. This sort of like moving more secretively or relying on other people to get you your information. It's more like kind of like you really standing up and being like, look, this is my truth, or this is what I want. I'm going to go out and get the information I need. It's like really representing yourself. Even though, moving in a certain direction is going to like rouse up some dissension. Like there's going to be people who have a problem with it. Let's see how you'll fare with it if you do that. If Taurus does that, what is the power for them to gain in this situation? I mean, to me, I think it's just the power of freedom to move forward and not feel left stuck, man. Oh, man. This is a challenge. It comes out as a Two of Swords again. Yeah, there's this desire. There's this desire to be concealed, There's this desire to cloak oneself. But I feel like, again, it is kind of coming through that way. Whatever guidance you're getting from this Emperor, you should take it, because I feel like the issue is then it's going to come out one way or another with the Page of Wands here. Okay? It will come out with the Page of Wands here. So it's sort of like, do you let somebody else put it out there for you, or do you stand up and, make it known yourself? I think that's pretty significant here. I would rather have the power to sort of like speak my truth. I mean, there's a significant decision to be made here. And it could be about a relationship with the Lovers here. It could be somebody that, you've been meeting in secrecy. We've got Gemini energy coming in there with the Lovers. There's a little nod to Piscean energy here too, with the two koi fish there. Okay. We also have storks in the background. So, I mean, there could be something like a love child. This could be something that's coming through. And with that, we have the Four of Cups. See, something's been a disappointment. It's got like secret lover vibe, It does have like third party energy. And maybe putting on a false presentation of being happy in your current situation, or somebody is, and yet sort of like having like little secret meetups, Some of you just tap into, that person's energy, because I do see a lot of this like High Priestess, and the High Priestess came out twice. So there is a little bit of that energy in play here. And there is something that's, wanting to be balanced out here. You're wanting to bridge a divide, but you're keeping something hidden. And as long as it's hidden, it's almost like saying, as long as it's hidden, you're always going to be disappointed. Because as long as it remains this like sort of like third party element, you never can receive the cup of love that wants to be handed to you here. And this could certainly be, let's take it out of the frame of like a love relationship, although I have to say it's coming through pretty strongly like that. This could also be like sort of like, by day I'm this, by night, you totally shape shift, you have like a whole different like persona. You're living a dual life. I got those kind of vibes. You play your role to keep the peace so you don't get everybody coming at you, with their torches and pitchforks. But at what cost? At the cost of being disingenuous. You're not being true to yourself if you're hiding such a big part of you. And there may be somebody here, okay, like this Emperor that's like, look, they're going to crucify you no matter what. Like, people will always have a problem with what you do. You just got to show up. You got to be you. You got to be real, You got to be real. And that's the key. But there's a lot of fear around this. There's a lot of fear around it because somebody's afraid of how it's going to make them look, like how it's going to come off. And potentially the way that others may feel hurt by this, or the way they may feel like they got done dirty, and what kind of reaction that may rouse in them. Are they going to want to get even? Page of Wands in relation to that, Page of Wands, quintessential Sagittarian energy. All right, we did have Sagittarius come out before, so there could be a connection there in relation to this. Right? But that's what's at stake. What's at stake is, do you want it to always be in the field of dreams? Do you want it to be a fantasy, or do you want it to be a reality? And what if you take action and then it doesn't turn out the way you want it to? Well, then at least you got your answer. You don't have to stay here hanging out indefinitely, wondering what the truth is, you can find out what the truth is. But there's like some bold action that needs to be taken here. Feel like some kind of communication to resolve this, okay? What's at stake? What's at stake for Taurus and the people they are meant to head into this next chapter with? What's at stake? What's at stake for Taurus in this next chapter they're meant to move into, and all the people who are meant to share that road with them? What's at stake for Taurus? Oh my gosh, Taurus. God, death in reverse. You may be like outwardly presenting that you let go of something, but because you haven't really brought it to a place of closure, it hasn't let go of its hold on you. That's what I feel. You're really being held back by this with death in reverse. It's like you want this fresh infusion of energy to come into your life, and I feel like it wants to come in. But in order for that to come in for you, something has to give here, man. I mean, something has to give here. The truth has to come up and out. A choice needs to be made. You can't live your whole life cloaked like this, because then you are being disingenuous, and your spiritual path is not going to support that. You'll start to experience lots of blockages in your life. I do feel like if you're brave and if you make the truth known here and you take action, it's like a balance for you, you know? It closes a cycle. Doesn't mean there might be some rough bits with that. Maybe, you know, but at least you're not sort of like not living authentically, you know, so that the true path can come into alignment for you here. And this could be somebody you feel you're dealing with that's being disingenuous with you. Well, then you need to like confront that. And there's a fear almost of confronting it because not wanting to see the truth. But this is like a case where the truth will truly set you free here. But there's, with death in reverse, this is like really holding on to something, not willing to let go. All right, strong Scorpio energy, you know, distorted. That's not good. That can also be vengeful. This can be feeling really vengeful that something came to an end as well. All right. And that's not going to move you forward here. It's not going to be able to even allow you the opportunity to open a new chapter, because you kind of just stay stuck in the same old loop. And it may involve different places, different faces, but it's the same old trip, and you don't want that. Okay. So what's at stake here with the devil? The devil, 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So you see what I'm saying? This is a major blockage here. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Cups. And this Knight of Cups card here is really interesting. Really interesting. First time I noticed that. This dragon is holding that cup, and it's got a seal in it. And it's making me think of that download I brought in recently about the Selkies and how we can give our power away, or how power can be stolen from others, or we can try to steal others' power. So there's something going on here. And it has a lot to do with control, with the devil coming in. All right. And to me, the way this is coming through, it's like something hidden, something secret. It's either like a secret life you've been living, a secret desire you have that you have been refusing to act on because you're afraid of how it will look and how it will sort of shift the way people will see you. It's fear around acting on those desires because you're worried maybe they won't be fulfilled. And yet, at the cost of what? Holding it in at what cost? It's totally got you under its control. I always say this, that secrets bind you. Secrets that are kept always hold power over you. They do. And when you're just like upfront with it all, nobody can hold anything over your head. You know what I mean? You may even feel like you're being put in this position. Some of you, you may feel like somebody, knows your secret and they're holding it over your head. And I'd say if that's the case, the best way to best that devil is to just come up and out with it, because there's no way to have the desires met. There's no way for things to come together for you and those you love and those you want to share the road with ahead to even be possible until this is outed here. This has to be overthrown with the devil. Mm-hmm. And until that's done, until one, is invested in the chains that bind them, there's no freedom. There's no freedom. So it's interesting. Sometimes when we keep a part of us hidden, that is a way that we've given our power away. We've given our power away to the need to keep something hidden because we have fear of fully stepping into it and representing it. So this is really important for you to have your desires met here. There's the promise of it. I see it. But it does require something to be really approached honestly here. May involve revealing a secret or a secret relationship or a hidden aspect of yourself, or even just making your true desires known after maybe you convinced somebody that you actually wanted something totally different. And I get it. It's a little complicating, okay? But you can't get where you want to go as long as you continue to invest yourself in concealing whatever this is. That's what I feel. That's how it's coming out. Let's see. What do I want to bring out here? Let's go ahead and get the Kipper deck out here. There's a lot that's kind of like, look, it's keeping you stuck with imprisonment here. Now, not for everybody, but in those cases where you know that somebody's done something that could get you caught up on that level, and you're trying to keep a secret because you're afraid of the ramifications of that or how people will view you. If there's something that happened monetarily, that wasn't right there, okay, if you know about something and you've been keeping mum, even as somebody else has been, throwing you under the bus, I'd be careful about that. Just to bring that in. Add it as a side note, okay? I mean, the only person I see being held back here is you. And that just came out there where we got thoughts, message, family room. See, this has you really thinking about making something known, something that inspires you, something that you really want to step into the next chapter with here, but it's going to bring a tower. When you deliver this message, it's going to bring a tower, and it could shake up a family. It could shake up a family. But it's also something that needs to be brought to completion, and it could be around a pregnancy with expectation there. Also, again, it's coming out that even if you think that you can keep it a secret, you should expect it's going to come up and out one way or another. It will. This will be revealed. So it's sort of like, do you want to be the one in charge of revealing that, or do you want to put that in somebody else's hands? Because I feel like that's what kind of puts you at a disadvantage here, is if you put it in somebody else's hands. That's how it's coming through. Okay? That's what's at stake for the new world you want to weave into being here. Let me do a cut of the deck on that. A gift on this side with community. Okay? So again, I feel like there's something coming in here for you. It's like it gives you a lot of hope. It's something you wished for. And it's a blessing. It's a gift for you. All right? Could be connected to an Aquarius, possibly. It doesn't have to be. But I feel like you're worried about like the ramifications of finally representing this. Like, what are people going to think about me with the community coming out here? And coming in with the number, breaking down to number 12, 12 breaking down to 3, it does make me think like this really could have something to do with a pregnancy, or there could be a mother factoring into this situation, or some new beginning, something that's happening here, and you're afraid of how it's going to look to the community, and yet you're wanting this. This for you is a blessing, right? I mean, everything about moving forward seems to be about, making this clear, like delivering the message. Don't sit on it. Now's the time to represent it. Will a community feel blindsided? Possibly. Your friends, your family, it may sort of like take them by surprise. But at the same time, they might be able to weather it better than you think they can. So maybe don't automatically have it all figured out ahead of time. Give it a chance to sort of like develop here, okay? Let's see what the cookie is. I'm pulling out the super awesome future cards. What's the cookie? Okay, see, you got this devil here. This is what, is really sort of concerning you. It's like, I want this happiness, but why does there have to be this like tricky angle to getting what I want here? But the thing with this devil, with the flame, and this could be in relation to an old flame or a flame that still burns for you, is that it's not this particular devil in this deck. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. I mean, it could have been something that you indulged in for self-gratification here. You may be worried about, being called selfish, okay, with this, whatever's coming into alignment with you here. But, I mean, you're going to get what you want. You're going to get what you want, but I feel like the spin that's put on it has a lot to do with whether, you allow this to be outed before you make it known, or whether you really just stand in the power of your choice here, okay? There's something empowering about, really representing this rather than letting it sort of make its way through the rumor mill, okay? That's what I got. Let's see what the cookie is. If Taurus is brave, it says, okay, no more, secrets, no more trying to conceal this. I'm just going to come up and out with it. I'm going to represent it. I'm going to show up fully and let this be witnessed. What is the cookie? What is the sweet reward for Taurus if they do this? What is the cookie? What is the sweet reward for Taurus if they do this? I mean, I think people suspect it already. I have to tell you honestly. In fact, you may have some friends around you that have been kind of coming around asking you some questions lately. They feel like you're being kind of cool as a cucumber, but you're also keeping your energy to yourself here. And with 27 there, yeah, you've kind of gone in hermit mode for a bit. And yeah, I do feel like you're enjoying, just sort of keeping this to yourself. It keeps you out of all the like drama, of the rumor mill, but it's still there. You know what I'm saying? it's still sort of hovering around you. I do think you need to be careful about the timing of this, whatever this is, and who you share it with first, I think is pretty significant. I wouldn't tell it to these people that are like hovering around you, asking for information. And in fact, I think a good place to start would be with your, like, your inner circle, your family, the people you're really close with the family room coming out before you put it out in the community. In fact, there might be something about that if you don't take charge of that and it comes out in the community before you got to address it on the level of your inner circle, that's what's going to be the problem, okay? So be careful of, who you think is a good friend to confide in. If you've already been sort of like, I don't know, then don't trust those people with this information. Again, there's a message that's coming through here. I really have to tell you, I feel like this is a cut to the chase moment for you, because this is that big, like, tower energy. Okay, this will get out. So it's really about you being prepared to just fully step into this. I also feel like there is some kind of news coming in here. It brings an opportunity for you. And I think that's like sort of the crux of the matter. There's no way that you can take this opportunity and not represent it. You can't keep it a secret. So I don't know what's connected to it, but there is something connected to it that you're worried about, like how it's going to look, how it's going to come up. Because it's going to bring on the zombies. It's going to bring on Night of the Living Dead here. There is something old that's being brought back to life here. Yeah, it's got rebirth energy around it. And there's all these people here. They may be a lot of people from your past, a lot of people you had connection with. They're wanting to feast on your brains. What are you thinking about? What are you going to do, Taurus? What's coming next, And something is coming back to life for you here. I picked that up, okay? So this could be like a renewal energy, but you're not wanting all of this like past stuff that comes attached to it. And this could be like you're coming together with somebody that, you had a connection with from the past, and you're afraid like all of their entourage, all of their lovers, are going to be coming at you. It could be this kind of an energy, but it could mean that it's time to sort of like cut that off, wrap it up, bring it to a close. And maybe that's where there's been a little hesitancy, like, well, but I kind of wanted to keep my options open, maybe. You might have been one of those people that maintains connection with a lot of exes as a way to not be fully in with somebody, and it kind of can give you an opportunity to go, well, if it doesn't work out with so-and-so, I got this person over here on standby. It could be coming through like that, or you could be perceived as that, right? But I feel like the cookie is, if you take charge of this, if you bring this to a close, all right, if you wrap this up, if you take this opportunity, I mean, look at this. This is great energy. We got the king here. There's movement forward. You overcome a challenge of the past. This could be in connection to Leo. With that one energy there, it makes me think of the magician and the high priestess, dynamic duo coming together. Now something can really get cooking, right? A situation transforms. And it's like finally being really represented too. You know what I mean? I like this. Could be a Sagittarius connected to this. Could be a Gemini connected to this with the magician energy, right? But this, this is a good position to be in here. This is a good position to be in here. What do we got on the cut of the deck? Let's see. Yeah, all right. And this may be something that's already brewing. I mean, there is a fox in the hen house here. And I think it's really about understanding that the camouflage, your cover is about to be blown here. I see it. All right, number 14, again, temperance could be in relation to Sagittarius. Could be in relation to a Virgo with number 9 there. Cancer, Leo, Cuspers come out quite a few times, right? Whatever's going on here, you're not going to be concealed much longer, because I do feel like somebody's going to come up and out about this, and they're going to blast that you got a new beginning going down here. And there's something about that. If you let somebody else announce it, it's not good for you. All right? It's not good for you. So take charge of it, okay? Get over your fear. Have the courage. Have the courage. You won't be disappointed. It'll be the thing that transforms the situation, and it puts you in a much stronger position. All right? All right, let's see. What should Taurus's focus be in light of all this? All right? So, wow. It looks like you're wrapping up time of a lot of hidden matters, when a lot was sort of like being done behind the scenes, or a lot was happening below the surface, where there were clandestine arrangements, agreements, lots of secrets. It's been a deeply spiritual time, but I also see it's been a time of stagnancy and not actually passing through an initiatory gateway, feeling controlled in some cases, controlled by what's been kept a secret or what's been hidden. And it looks like it's time for you to overthrow that this year and step into that position of power, right? And choose growth here. I feel like if you're brave, it turns out well. I mean, that's what I see. It may stir things up at first, but it looks like it changes your path forward big time, okay? Bottom of the deck, the kiss. Yeah, there's that judgment again. Here, how much do I have to give you to just keep you quiet? Sagittarian energy there, coming in with number 20 with the kiss up, okay? Yeah, this has something to do with like some kind of temptation here. I see it. You're really going to have to use your knowledge here to transform this situation. Also, you know, something you're wanting to come into alignment with here. There's a lot of temptation and there's a lot of snakes in the grass. Like something is at odds with this Aquarian energy coming in there, okay? What should Taurus focus on here in order to get the best result with this situation they're dealing with? And come into this. It looks like a beautiful alignment. Let's come in here for you. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I have to tell you, this is how it's coming out. You got to ride that lightning, man, in order to affect this transformation and move forward here. There is a tower that has to come in here. The truth has to be known. And the good thing about it is it's going to get you out of this position where it's just sort of like the tedium of having to, you know, sort of bob on the surface and fit into a role that you were never meant to play, and just sort of dealing with the same old mediocrity here. And it's a chance to reclaim some happiness. Double sevens here, all right? But it does require you to, you know, you're going to have to ride the lightning. I feel like it's going to happen whether you do it or you let somebody else do it. People are already suspicious here. They've already sensed something's up, something, you know, smells a little off. What's going on here? I know something's up. There may be a few women here in particular that definitely are, you know, suspecting what you're keeping undercover here. Number 11, whatever this is, I mean, justice on the scene. It's something that is the tipping point for bringing something into a state of balance. That's what I feel, okay? I feel like it's justice for whatever's been hidden to come out, period. And there's a way that you can work with it that can be beneficial for you, or there's a way that can be difficult, okay? And with that, we got the pig, and on the other side here, the rider, okay? So again, you know, it's sort of just like representing it. This is what I see. There may be some people who tell you you've been selfish in a situation. You might get a little backlash. I see that. Or you may be dealing with a person that you felt was very selfish in the past. Or maybe, they'll only move forward with you if you agree to do so on their terms, all right? And so that might be what's a little bit of a challenge in this situation. But I do feel like you will move forward. There's a brand new chapter that's going to open up here. Your road is going to open, all right? And will you get some judgment from people around it? Probably. Will there be some pushback? Probably. But ultimately, I see it's the key to you sort of setting yourself free, not feeling stuck anymore, getting what you want. It does promise you an open road. It does promise you a break from this mediocrity, all right? It ain't going to be boring anymore. There's some spirit of adventure that comes in here. There might even be an important trip that's involved in this. It could be something that goes down in October, all right? Right around the time of the October new moon. Might be something coming in here. This could also have something to do with a move, right? But I feel like once you take the action and you act on this, so I feel like it's almost like it's an opportunity coming your way to reclaim something that you wanted that passed you by. And you might have been hung up there for one reason or another. You had your reasons why you couldn't move forward on something. You may have tried to, continue to have your cake and eat it too in some respects. But it's sort of at the point where if this is going to be what you want it to be, you have to fully represent this. And in order for you to fully represent it, something can't be concealed anymore. In the case of a pregnancy, it could be because you're showing like people know. People know. And there might be something that's a little like, ooh, uncomfortable about that. I don't know why I got this. It could be in some cases because maybe you did have a tryst. I'm just saying, it's not everybody's story, but maybe you did have a tryst and maybe you were with somebody at the time and you were in a committed relationship. And maybe you'd been trying to conceive with that person and weren't able to. Then you go and have a tryst and all of a sudden, oh, it's a gift, but now I'm not sure. And the way it's kind of syncing up, it looks like it may be my secret lovers, I do feel like there's a little bit of that element in this situation, whatever this is. There's some fear about how it will be received. But once you come up and out with it, you're no longer held back. I see you moving forward. You're not afraid anymore. You're willing to face this head on. You're ready to sign on to the adventure. And looks like you'll move forward very quickly, very powerfully, could lead to a brand new home. And brand new road opening up for you. That's what I see. But the secret's got to come up and out for you to balance this out. And it's part of the secret, or whatever desires you've hidden here, whatever you've been keeping, kind of cloaked here. It's so important for you to represent it because that's the thing that closes the old cycle and actually gets you moving forward into what looks like a really cool new chapter. It leads to a lot of beautiful beginnings for you. I think you'll be happy with the way it turns out. It's just, it's a test. It's a test getting there. But you can do it. You can do it. You can make it through this initiatory gateway. One way or another, it's going to come up and out. So it's about you deciding, do you want to put that power into somebody else's hands? Or do you want to take that by the reins? It will make a difference.